Case here, and today I'm going to show you guys what I have for my TAPS chest rig loadout. Now, with that said, a couple of caveats. One, welcome to D13 Airsoft. Yes, we primarily do Airsoft, but we will do other things as well, including using actual firearms. Now, for me in particular, all the gear I use for actual firearms, I will also use for Airsoft. With that said, I still hope you can still learn something from this, even if maybe you have a different philosophy of use for it. With that said, if you are getting your tactical advice from a Airsoft channel and only Airsoft channel without looking around anywhere else, please reevaluate your life choices. We are not experts in any way, we don't pretend to be. In addition, this video is part of the annual review series on the channel. In this case, and this is going to be a new one, is the chest rig loadout. So I do have a belt kit and then a chest rig that I keep and maintain, and this is going to be part of it. In particular, this loadout I've had for about a year now. Okay, so with the disclaimers out of the way, let's begin. First, let's talk about what's not on the chest rig, because if I talk about what's on the chest rig and something's missing, someone might ask, well, where is that item, or have you thought about carrying this? And in many cases, I already have, it's just not on here, right? So, first off, helmet, protection group did mark. Helmet, still doing good. This is, I think, the first video I did on the channel back in 2022. Still doing pretty good. This is the Bees Combat System plate carrier. This is a very heavily modified version of it. I've stripped most of the Velcro and webbing off of it and put Cry Precision ABS cover buns on the side to take soft armor. Very slimline plate carrier, and I will show some overlay footage of me wearing it with the chest rig, as that is something I do, and I'll talk about that later. As for what is on me, I will often carry a compass and multi-tool in one of the shoulder pouches, a tourniquet in the other, a notebook with some pen, pencil, paper, admin products in one of my pockets, a second tourniquet in one of my cargo pockets, and a headlamp in one of my calf pockets. So some of the items you may not see on the chest rig, it's because I am carrying it somewhere else. So something I want to say with this chest rig first off is, in spite of me not being in the military, pretty much every single pouch on here is surplus of some sort, minus the harness, which I will get to in a moment. I think it's important because some people get issued the TAPS rig and they sometimes just think it's complete trash and want to completely replace it. I think the TAPS is actually a very versatile chest rig system. It has a lot of capacity and capability for a chest rig, and with a little bit of tweaking, you can definitely make it something that's very good. Starting in the front, let's talk about the internal pouches attached to it. You have 8 different slots to use. Primarily 6 of them are meant for magazines, while the other 2 can be used a little larger for, say, radios, maybe a handgun if you wanted to. For me, 7 of the 8 I use with rifle mags, and then on the left side here I have for a radio. Nothing too fancy, just really for Airsoft, just a little bayo thing with a push-to-talk that I have weaved through the harness to the push-to-talk here. Now what you will notice is these 4 front mags are exposed right now, when usually you have this Velcro tab on all of them. What I have done is, inside here is a S-Tac Kiwi mag insert that I have added Velcro on the opposite tab here and pushed them down and just use like adhesive Velcro. And from there I'm able to insert it and it stays incredibly secure. So what that has done is given me 4 fast mag reloads up front, and they are very good. If you dump the whole chest rig upside down, then you might have some issues. I would not call this a jumpable setup, but again, I'm just civilian, so that doesn't really matter to me. Now starting on my left, your right, on the side of the U.S. Army surplus canteen pouch, I have a couple batteries here, all lithium, AAA, AA, CR123, and just have them in one of these side pouches here. Inside the main compartment is just a simple 1-quart canteen. No CBurn cap on this one. I do have one on this one, but I mean, I don't really have a need for them. It's just a matter of what I got. Maybe you military guys are a little different. Other side pocket here is completely empty, so I do have some space if I need to, though it's limited. Here is an Eagle Industries canteen pouch. However, I'm using it as an IFAK. So, open it up. A couple items I got in here is another tourniquet, medical tape, decompression needle, Israeli bandage, combat gauze, 4 chest seals. Let's see here. Actually, no, that is 3 chest seals. Interesting. Okay. I'm a little confused there because I did go do 3 for a little while, but I thought I upgraded all my other IFACs to 4. So, good to know. This is a laminated sheet of paper with a cheat sheet on some medical information to handle trauma, so helps me out in a moment if I absolutely need to. This is a boo-boo kit, so a bunch of different band-aids of various sizes, water purification tablets, and small gauze wipes. Medical shears. A single chem light with some paracord attached to it so I could helicopter it if I have to as an emergency signal device, and a small writing utensil, so a Sharpie clipped on the side. I have a single grenade pouch here. Obviously, as a civilian, I use that for airsoft grenades and not much else. And this is just a standard surplus grenade pouch, super simple. I will say, when I'm wearing this kit, the Airsoft EG67 airsoft grenades are very fragile, and going prone with a grenade pouch up front does often lead to that grenade getting crushed if I do it enough times. Something to be aware of that you wouldn't have an issue with other type of grenade models, both airsoft and actual ones. Right here is another Eagle Industries canteen pouch. This one is sort of the miscellaneous utility pouch. I usually keep a couple of smoke grenades in here, but with a padded insert I could also fit night vision, a couple of other items in there. So that's kind of mission dependent. On this side is another US surplus canteen pouch. Right here is completely empty again. Front main compartment is another canteen. So on this chest rig, I am rocking 7+1 magazines, comms, 2 liters of water, medical, and some pyro and miscellaneous items already, which is pretty good. And on the right, pouch is empty again. When I first made this loadout, I had this stuffed a little bit more, but I started putting items somewhere else. So I actually have quite a few little pockets here to put extra stuff for mission dependent, which is pretty nice. Then on the side here, and I can get some close-ups if need be, is just a small Benchmade knife. I'm not much of a knife guy, so I mean this isn't my primary rig, the belt kit is. And for me, I mean this is just a spare knife I have. It does the job. What I have done is I have taken the belt clip off of it and just tucked it in with tension in the webbing underneath these Swift clips here on this side. And it actually holds it quite well. Okay, turn this kit around. Starting on the harness itself, this is a Spiritus Systems H harness for the TAPS rig. This is part of the Spiritus System TAPS upgrade kit. If you buy the entire kit for like 180 bucks, you get a bunch of different stuff that really do help modernize this, 15-year-old chest rig system now. A lot of attachments are super cool, but for me, I just didn't really need a lot of them, so I just bought the harness and back strap system on it. What you will notice is, again, I mentioned it before, I do have the push-to-talk taped to it. And then I also have some duct tape on the 2 straps here and here on the left and right. What that has done is I have adjusted it to where the tightest versions of it is where I like it without wearing body armor. And I will loosen it up to those tabs when I am wearing body armor. So I have those pre-installed there, and the duct tape helps stop the adjustment slider there, which is pretty nifty. Right here is a U.S. Marine Corps dump pouch that I rattle canned. I know the U.S. Army just finally started issuing a lot of the multicam dump pouches to a lot of guys now. I haven't seen them yet. What I will say is the Marine Corps, before I issue dump pouch, I actually quite like. That's because it has a very good wide open. They have a stiff opening so that mouth will stay open, and pretty deep, so it allows me to just have this open on my side. I can reload pretty well in it. As for the main compartment, it is completely empty right now, but it is 4 larger MAP products. I usually keep those in my rucksack when I'm not using them, and then once I do need them for route planning, I will put them in there. Though let's be honest, as a civilian, I don't really use it that much. On my right side, your guys' left, I just have some beef jerky. And then on my left, your right, on the zippered pouch, I have some more food, just some power bars and some gummies. And that's it, just a little bit of food. Okay, so in terms of the performance of this rig, I'm pretty satisfied with it. It's US surplus. I mean, some surplus isn't great, but a lot of it's quite durable. which I think all of this falls under that category. I have no durability issues with them, at least for 1 year of decent use. In terms of cost, I got all the pouches and stuff on here around $300. Some of that was disproportional for the new harness system. In addition, I bought a lot of this online, so it was more of a shipping issue. If you go to a surplus store, you could get a decent deal on a lot of this. And for that price, I think this is pretty competitive, especially in terms of what I could fit on here. Now, as you saw with some of the other gear I was using, this is intended to be used pretty much by itself outside of some extra items like the body armor and the helmet. In terms of my mags and what I'm using, this is what I got. I'm not using a handgun with this. I'm not using a range belt or pistol belt. It's just this helmet, some body armor. And I would say for that purpose, this is a pretty decent loadout for what you're getting. The TAPS chest rigs are pretty great in that their capacity is very impressive. If you're using this with the issued IOTVs, even the newer ones for the Army guys, this is not the most comfortable experience. From the brief time I have seen that before, but you guys probably know more about that than someone like me would. But with something like a slimline body armor setup like the one I showed, this is a much more comfortable setup and it works much better. The only other thing I would note is in comparison to the belt kit I often use, it is a little weird going prone, having all this stuff up front. Does it matter that I can't get 2.5 inches closer to the dirt? I mean, it's your choice, but I mean, that's something you're inherently going to have an issue with most chest rigs in comparison to other types of gear systems. But for me, for the limited purposes I have it for, it doesn't really bother me much. Minus that grenade issue, but hey, what can you do with an airsoft grenade? Okay, so final thoughts. This is a pretty down and dirty simple video because this TAPS rig is pretty to the point, and that's part of the charm to it. Are there better chest rig systems out there? I'm sure there are, but for the price and what I'm doing, I think this is a perfectly acceptable loadout, at least for my purposes, and I hope you guys learned something from it. With that said, thank you guys for watching. Tell me what you think, and I'll see you guys around next time. Bye.